Listen, guys, we know what day it is.
It's the 29th.
Of December.
Yeah.
You're not doing work.
You're not working, and if you say you're working, no, you're not.
You're refreshing
You're lying.
Google.
You've been on LinkedIn 40 times already.
It's only 9 a.m.
It's 9 a.m., folks.
So instead of giving you tactics, tools, tips like we usually do, we know you're not going to be paying attention. You're not going to be taking notes.
Yeah, we know you love those, but not today. Today we're having some fun. So we have trivia. We have an Am I the We have 2 work rants that you're going to want to stick around for. We're looking back at 2025 in a really fun way.
Let's get into it.
We'll get into the fun in a minute, but first, Kayla, hard-hitting question. Do you like charcuterie boards?
I'm a little offended that you don't know the answer to this question.
Okay, maybe I knew that you do love charcuterie boards.
There is nothing better for a mid-afternoon snack. A fig jam and brie moment, spectacular. But what does this have to do with anything?
Well, I was just thinking about all the perks you get when you work at an industrious co-working space. Weekly happy hours, stocked fridges, free breakfast, and on-site experience managers to make sure your workday is enjoyable.
And afternoon charcuterie spreads?
You know it.
What's not to love? Plus, with over 250 locations, you can always find a workspace that works for you.
Try out Industrious for yourself with a day pass or meeting room booking now. 50% off for Per My Last Email listeners. Visit industriousoffice.com/PMLE to get your discount or free tour. That's industriousoffice.com/PMLE for 50% off your first day pass or meeting room booking.
All right, so I'm going to dive right into it. We have so many segments today I'm so excited about. First, we're going to be doing trivia. So Kyle and I have both come up with independently 5 trivia questions about 2025 in work news, 2025 buzzwords, 2025 trends.
Yes.
We're going to ask each other, but here's the fun thing. You get to play along too.
Oh my goodness, that's so fun.
Exciting. So keep an eye out. See if you can get these questions answered before us.
Yeah.
We might get some wrong. I have kind of some tough ones.
Okay.
So.
Slack your colleagues these, see if they get them right.
Exactly.
I just have to say before we get into it, I'm so excited for this episode.
I am really
It's very fun. I'm ready for trivia. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll ask the first question.
Okay.
All right, question 1. Who said it? Quote, if they don't like it, I don't care. We need efficiency. Oh, I was about to say, I do have a hint if you don't know.
Okay, hint.
The hint? This is regarding pushback to office mandates.
I believe I said this.
No.
Okay, well, I see efficiency. I think Zuck.
Right.
Because he was the big year of efficiency guy. I don't think Meta had a whole RTO.
No.
I hear RTO, I think Andy Jassy and Amazon. So it doesn't, I don't think it's right, but it's my best guess, Andy Jassy.
Incorrect. Incorrect.
All right.
The answer is Jamie Dimon, the CEO of
Jamie
JPMorgan Chase.
Dimon,
Yep.
Mr. Efficiency himself.
Yep.
What a great mugshot, too.
I know.
Look
That's
at him.
good. That's good. He looks like he's not pissed.
He's right about to LBO your company.
Yeah, despite the fact that every quote I've heard from him in the past 12 months has been him yelling about people returning to the office. So yeah, this is obviously about return to office. This is about the fact that JPMorgan Chase just implemented a pretty strict return to office over the last year.
Yeah.
They want everyone back in office. They also just opened a fancy new Midtown office.
I will say, in their defense, they said, come back to the office, but we have a sick office
They
for
did
you.
open a sick office.
Yeah,
There's like 4 floors of gyms. They got like smoothies on tap.
Right. If you're like little like e-com startup is like back to the office, I'd be like, you guys, we don't even have coffee.
Yeah,
in the
like
office.
come on.
Give me
Yeah.
something. Okay. I'm 0 for 1.
Okay.
Should we go to my first question
Let's do
for
it.
you? All right. I have another Who Said It for you, Kayla.
Oh, great.
Who said, don't give me that shit that work from home Friday works. I call a lot of people on Friday. There's not a goddamn person to get a hold of.
First of all, I'm cracking up that both of us chose return to office Who Said It quotes. I have no clue who said this.
Do you want a hint?
I would love a hint.
We just talked about him.
Is it also? Shut up.
It's Jamie Dimon. Independently, we even got a different
That is
mugshot.
amazing.
If you're listening, we are showing some mugshots on YouTube. So
Oh
check out
my
the YouTube.
gosh, that's so funny.
This was Jamie Dimon. This man has been on a tear. He wants people back in the office, clearly.
and he is not afraid to say it.
He's not.
Well, that bold. We love a man who advocates for what he wants, I guess.
I just imagining Jamie Dimon in his office, like calling like a junior salesperson on
Right.
Friday who's like working from home and they don't pick up, and he's like, these we got to get these
Gotta get
back
these
in
back.
the office.
Well, you know what? Like, it was like probably 2021, 2022. And the stories that were coming out was that like the CEOs of like, it was like the CEO of Goldman was like spending his Thursday at a beach club in the Hamptons and like ran into some of his junior employees that were supposed to be working and was like, we got to cut this off. We can't be doing this.
I do have to say, I'm fine with RTO. You know, it's your company, your choice.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's being applied pretty discriminately in like bad ways where like the CEO of Starbucks, they're like doing a return to office mandate. You're flying a PJ back and forth. You're working from your house in California. Your HQ is in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, it feels a little unfair.
For sure.
I do feel like Jamie Dimon's the type of guy who is actually up in that office.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure. He's there longer than most.
respect to him on that one.
So should we go to question 2?
Let's do it.
All right. Question number 2 from me. About how many U.S. layoffs had companies explicitly blamed on AI in 2025?
Total U.S. layoffs.
That blamed AI.
Do I get is there any sort of hint, or I'm just going straight from the?
Just give me vibes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. I'll do the math live here. There's 350 million Americans. Let's say
There's actually he's gonna get a consulting job after this.
Yeah. I'm interviewing for Google.
Yeah.
There's 320 million Americans. Maybe I overshot. Let's say 200 million work. Of jobs that could be displaced by AI, that's probably like in our announcing it, it's probably pretty tech focused. So I'm gonna go like 3 million.
What do you guys think? 3 million?
3 million.
According to Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, the outplacement firm, 55,000.
And I do not have a job at Google.
Crazy.
Only 55,000?
Only 55,000 explicitly blamed AI.
Okay.
Which is shocking to me because I feel like every single headline is talking about AI-based layoffs. That being said, other reasons, so there was like about 1 million layoffs this year. But other reasons include market and economic conditions, tariffs, and government spending cuts, which then impacted other sectors like nonprofit and contractors.
Gotcha.
So I am shocked.
I'm shocked by that. I mean, I was live being an idiot, clearly.
But no, I think what's so interesting about this is like the vibes are that AI is taking a ton of jobs, and 55,000 is a ton of jobs. But like that's not as many as I was anticipating.
Yeah, I guess maybe the real like reason for layoffs, I feel like this year, reflecting back on it, was like RTO or layoffs disguised as RTO.
Yeah.
Like basically like make people come back to the office. Not everyone's going to do it. They're going to like self-select out. It's a way to trim our workforce without having to like explicitly fire people. So maybe, fingers crossed, no, but maybe 2026 is the year where like
you see more.
Actually, like people are saying, hey, it's for AI. I mean, the Klarna CEO fired a bunch of people explicitly for AI.
Right.
Like 3 months later, he was like, oh shit, it turns out AI
Got to
can't do
rehire.
that.
Yeah.
And try to bring them all back. So it wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
And my guess was totally wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're 0 for.
Yeah. We're 0 for 3.
0 for 3. Really.
Turns out we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. My next question for you, Kayla. According to a 2025 Resume Now survey, what percentage of U.S. employees admit to regularly ghost working, aka pretending to be busy, while not actually doing meaningful work?
Okay, so the options are 22%, 38%, 58%, or 74%.
Correct.
I think what changes my answer is the definition of regularly.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go with B, 38%.
0 for 4.
No way.
It is 58%
Regularly.
admit to regularly ghost working. Turns out over half the economy is fake.
Well, I mean, we knew that.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
I'm 99% ghost working.
This is the 1 hour a week where he's actually doing work.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah, of course.
Where you know, you have a day where like, okay, like I'm waiting for people to get back to me. I'm ahead on this. You're just kind of toggling between tabs.
For sure. And this is what I think is so annoying because like I would love to be freed from the shackles of ghost work.
Yes.
Like I would love to be able to be like, I'm gonna take the afternoon and go to the fucking Met.
Yeah.
You know?
That's when I think like work flexibility.
Yeah.
That's what I think people actually want. I think it's less about I don't want to have to like come into the office every single day or anything like that. I just want to, when I'm done with work, I want to be able to log off and like people respect that. And then I'm going to work later some days.
Exactly.
But if I want to go to the Met in your example, that's totally cool as long as the work is done. Because if not, you get ghost working and it's just a waste of everyone.
And everyone's burnt out and tired and it's FaceTime culture and it's just not good. Just go take a break.
Yes.
All right. Question 3.
Okay. We're going to get this one.
Yes.
I'm putting the team on my back.
I think
Here we
you
go.
will.
Hit me.
Which of the following work trends did I just make up? A, quiet quitting. B, office sirens. C, work slop. D, loud PTO. Or E, the great flattening.
D, loud PTO.
That is correct.
Let's go.
So, yes, that is just being obnoxious about going on vacation.
I do like that. That's going to be a 2026 work trend now. The one I wasn't sure on was office siren.
Yeah. So,
That was a work trend?
yes, it was. So dressing like an office siren is basically like dressing like the hot person in your office.
Okay.
It was a trend on TikTok and it did actually get people fired.
Gotcha. When I heard it,
Yeah.
that is kind of what I thought because, I love the classics.
Yeah.
I've read the Iliad, the Odyssey, so
Sure.
I'm pretty up to date with what sirens
You know what
are.
sirens are.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so we finally got one right. Well, I got one right.
Right.
Kayla still has
0.
nothing right. So when you're trying to decide which tactic you should believe, mine or Kayla's, just keep this moment in
Keep
mind.
this moment in
the
mind.
next year. All right, Kayla. Question number 3 for you.
Mm-hmm.
A little buzzword bingo.
Ooh.
What is coffee badging?
I do know this one. We might go 1 for 1. So my understanding of coffee badging is it's basically when your company is tracking how often you're in the office by when your badge clocks in.
Mm-hmm.
So people will clock in the morning, grab a coffee, hang out, spend a little bit, maybe do a meeting in the office or get your face seen, and then you head out because you only see when you clock in. You're not clocking out to exit the building necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way to get your check mark in for your working in office, but you're actually then going back home.
Folks, she nailed it.
Yay!
She is on the board.
I did it.
Well done. A question for you.
Yes.
What % of people do you think have admitted to doing coffee badging?
I would say it's probably out of the entire economy, I would say like 10% because I can't imagine that every single company is tracking. Like of the people that could coffee badge, I bet it's like 50.
Okay, yes, you're spot on. 58% of people who can do it admit
Yeah.
to doing it at least once.
Okay.
Which makes, again, this kind of goes back to the ghost working thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating this incentive for people to like just kind of do bullshit.
Yeah.
And instead of like showing up to the office and actually enjoying it.
work. Yeah.
So I don't like ghost working. I don't like I don't like the incentive that created coffee badging. We should figure this out. But you're on the board, so well done.
Fantastic. So now it's 1 to 1.
Yes.
And we're on question 4.
Okay.
Glad we have so many points on the board. Okay. In one of the largest 4-day work week trials reported in 2025, roughly what share of participating companies decided to keep the 4-day schedule after the trial ended?
Yeah, I remember these trials. It's very high. I don't know what band you're going to give me in terms of me getting it correct, but I'm going to go 80% plus.
You're close. It was 90%, about
Okay.
90. So that feels
Count
like
it.
you get a point.
Count it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The 4-day work week is very interesting. Everyone that's done it has kept it,
But nobody's doing it, is the thing.
but nobody's doing it.
Yeah, this is like, it's a large work week, 4-day work week trial. It was like, 60 companies or
Yeah.
something. Like it's not a ton of,
Yeah. We
companies.
did a great episode
Yeah.
about that I think that will be another trend to watch in 2026 is not necessarily how many companies go to a 4-day work week, but how many companies find a new flexibility in
Sure.
terms of hours worked. Seems to be an emerging trend
Yep.
for next year. Okay, well it's 2 to 1 now, Kayla. See if you can catch me. I have question number 4 for you. According to a 2025 Adobe survey, what percentage of American workers report experiencing the quote unquote Sunday scaries? We've all heard of these, which is the dread that you feel as the weekend ends and you go to Monday. What % of Americans feel that?
Well, so you have been much nicer than I was. So you gave me numbers. The options are 42%, 62%, 82%, or 92%. And I'm just going to go internal for this one. Based on how many weekends I've felt the Sunday scaries, I'm going to say 82%.
82% is right.
Woohoo!
Nailed it.
Let's go.
It is 82% of Americans feel the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
That's a sad statistic.
Okay, but why don't you, you know?
Because I'm listening to my own tactics, and which is on Sunday, you carve out a little bit of time, you think about your focus areas, you send those to your boss, you get your checklist down, you look at your calendar, so you don't wake up feeling the dread and having to do that. You go to sleep knowing you have a plan.
That's the thing. Knowing I have a plan doesn't change the fact that I just got to spend 2 days doing whatever the hell I wanted, eating cheese in a park. And now you're telling me I have to go and clack on my computer keys?
Kayla,
that's scary regardless of how prepared I am
We've
for
talked about this. You have to stop eating cheese in a park.
I know. It's true.
It's
true.
weird. You're sitting on a bench eating brie. People are looking at you funny.
Listen, this is
Stop
my
doing
long
that.
game. I'm going to open up a charcuterie truck outside of Central Park when I'm 55.
Our goal, if you are listening to this, my goal for you is to eliminate the Sunday scaries.
Okay.
So maybe we'll have to talk about that more, but that tactic I just recommended does help.
It does help.
The scary thing is, if you look at Gen Z, it jumps to 92%.
I believe it.
Like, only 8% of Gen Z is like waking up excited for Monday. That makes me a little sad.
Yeah, it is a little sad. I think it's a reframe.
Okay.
I think I could be, I think Sunday scaries being like, I am dreading going to work because I hate my life is more sad, and like it should be called something different than, I've had a lovely weekend and I'm sad that I have to go back to work again tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's different. That's just like normal to me.
Okay, we'll have to think of a new term.
Existential work dread is the other one.
That sounds so appealing.
And we'll be right back after this. Okay, back to the show.
All right, it's
Question
2-2.
5.
Let's go to question 5.
All right, let's do it. Who said it? Quote, you only hate personality hires because you don't have a personality yourself.
That is Kyle Heggie.
It is.
What a wise guy that Kyle Heggie
I thought I
is.
was going to stump you.
No, that's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, Kyle Heggie. No, I remember that was a great episode from What We Get Wrong About Work.
It was on our episode of Non-Obvious Truths about work.
Okay.
And it cracks me up because in question 1, when I said that, you said I said it. And I was like, damn, how do you know? So yeah, I was like kind of trying to figure out for my last quote, like I wanted it to be hard, but I didn't want it to be like crazy. And I was like, so I actually spent like an hour on your LinkedIn.
Wow.
Scrolling through, looking for things that you said.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
It was interesting. You do a lot of reposts. That's what I learned.
Well, you got a repost for my last email.
Of course.
Okay, well, it makes me feel vindicated in that take.
Yeah.
That I remembered I said it.
Yeah.
If I was like, that is the dumbest person ever, it would have been a little.
It was a good take. It was one of our hot takes. And again, this is a nice plug the 4-day work week episode. And if you haven't, listen to the Non-Obvious Truth
Yes,
episode.
that was a great episode. Okay, it's 3-2. A lot of pressure on.
All right, let's see if I can tie it up.
Final question for trivia.
Great.
Kayla, what does the term hushed hybrid mean?
Okay, this is a good one. So I do know the answer to this. The answer to this is hushed hybrid is when you're not allowed to work from home or not allowed to do hybrid. You're expected to work from the office, from the leadership down. Mm-hmm. That's the expectation that the leadership sets. But your manager, your team, or your team lead allows you to be hybrid, to work hybrid, because they don't agree with the policy or for whatever reason. They allow you to kind of fake working from the office more days than you do.
Crushed it.
3-3.
A tie. That feels right.
That does feel right.
Feels, all is equal in the world.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
glad we started with the hard ones.
And I would say we made a hell of a run. We started out really weak, and we went collectively 6 for 6 on the back half.
Yeah, that was good.
We're clutch time performers.
Yep.
Fun trivia.
That was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Let's move on to our next segment, which is Am I the Asshole? Some of our favorite episodes this year.
Yep.
We're doing full Am I the Asshole episodes. We have one workplace situation that we're going to do now for this segment.
And we have not heard it. It is a listener email, and we are going to react to it blind.
Correct. Let's hear it now. This is the email we got from one of our great listeners. Quote, something has been on my mind recently about team culture and even office culture. But first, a bit of background. We have an open floor plan, and we, the software engineers, sit with ops. Our team writes software that directly affects them, so it makes sense to be near them. That being said, it's a very different vibe between ops and engineering. I think everyone feels that.
Yeah.
They work way more than us, bless their hearts, and they have more of a, quote, company culture vibe. My team puts in the work for sure, but we tend to not work as many hours as it's not usually required unless we have our big monthly software release. Last week at the office, we had a bunch of kids come in on Friday dressed up for Halloween, and we were handing out candy It's always super fun event and the kids are adorable. Narrator note, that is adorable. During the week, ops were spending lots of time and money decorating the floor for the kids. Our company encouraged us all to decorate, and I believe there's a prize for the best decorated floor. Last week, some of us in engineering were crazy busy because of some deadlines, so decorating was not the priority for us. I expressed that I wasn't too interested in decorating our row, and that seemed to be fine. However, when I was working from home the next day, someone in our team chat said they would get some decorations and send a Venmo request to the team. I was pretty annoyed since I was never asked, and this tends to be the vibe during the holidays. Gift exchanges, potlucks, and other things that are decided, not suggested, and it tends to annoy me. Our company doesn't reimburse for this kind of stuff, but often encourages some of it. I feel bad that people, especially ops, can't really say no to this stuff, so their already busy workload increases. But sometimes I just want to get my work done and don't want to spend extra time outside of work making meals, buying decorations, or doing a gift exchange. My team is great, but my job is not my life, and I want to feel empowered to say no without feeling guilty. Kayla, am I the asshole, or is our loving listener the asshole? What are your thoughts here?
So I feel like we've gotten a lot of iterations of this, which is when we're doing Am I the Assholes, it's either somebody who's going the extra mile and expects, their teammates to chip in, or it's somebody else going the extra mile and trying to make a company culture shine and expecting that others participate. And I think this is a really tricky situation because there is a part of company culture that is built outside of the strict rules of your job description.
Totally. That's kind of all it is.
Yeah, right. And it's like, that's what makes a company culture. And so I totally get wanting to opt out of it. But I think then it's like, you don't get the benefits that positive company culture kind of creates. So I don't think you're the asshole in this situation because I think they should have asked you to opt in before instead of after. Mm-hmm. And I think you probably can say, listen, if you had asked me beforehand, I would have said no. And maybe I could have contributed in some other way. And you asked after, so I'm sorry, I can't Venmo you.
Yeah.
It depends, right? We don't know the details. Like if he said it in a really asshole-y way, then yeah, you're the asshole. But I don't think he did.
I don't think you're the asshole, our dear listener, and I think you're pretty smart for the podcast you listen to, like per my last email. I'll say a little grinchy. Mm-hmm. I'd say you're a little grinchy.
Fair.
One, I hear you on the Venmo, like personal funds. That's tough. I want to be cognizant of that. So yeah. I think if the company is encouraging this, they should set some money aside for people to buy decorations and decorate themselves. So putting that to the side, I think that's a very valid point. There's just always going to be a little extra stuff during the holidays, during these moments where you want to decorate. For me, I'd be oh, thank you. I've kind of opted out and someone else is going to decorate and I'm contributing some money towards that. And I've done my part there. Mm-hmm. That kind of actually sounds nice to me.
Right.
Because I don't have to do much, but I feel like I'm contributing in some way. It is tough. It is extra work, but it's those little things, to your point, that build a company culture that's kind of fun. And I would say, goes back to my brilliant quote in trivia, personality hires. No one wants to do it, but the people that do, go above and beyond to set up an office happy hour, decorate the office, those people keep the good vibes going and I think are underappreciated.
Yep,
we have our happy hour office holiday party coming up soon. Someone's on Canva during their work hours making the little sign-up sheets, printing them out, putting them around the office, being thoughtful about it. That's not in their job description. They're not being compensated for that, but it's really, really important and it's super helpful and I think brings the culture forward. So I'm not saying you have to go that above and beyond, but I do think maybe be a little less of a Grinch.
Yeah.
Put your Cindy Lou Who hat on and just embrace the holiday spirit. Do a little what you can. And have some fun with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not the asshole. No one's the asshole in this situation, but everyone's a little wrong.
Yeah. Aren't we all, though?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for writing in. If you do have a submission, you want us to judge if you're an asshole or not, per my last email at morningbrew.com, please send them in. We'll do full episodes or we'll do little special segments like this. Okay, Kayla, we're moving on to the work rant portion of this episode.
Finally.
I'm very excited. We each have one work rant
Yes.
that we've had in our hearts all year, and we're finally going to unleash it. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I am so excited because Kyle never rants about anything. So I want to hear yours. I've been anxiously anticipating what your work rant's going to be. So let's hear it.
Okay, so my work rant, I've alluded to this in the past, and I think you actually didn't like it. So I'm very excited to bring it up again. I think there is such a thing as hard work gatekeeping.
Ooh,
and I hate it so much. Now, what is hard work gatekeeping, you might ask? It's this. You're a manager, or you're a senior leader, or you are like a team lead, and you're like, oh my gosh, I work so hard. I work on the weekends. I was up until 9 p.m. working. It's like the meme where there's a guy getting shot and like he's saving the child on the bed. You're like, I am protecting you from all this hard work.
Yes.
You're so lucky. Don't be like me.
Right.
Don't do it. It's so Shut up.
Yeah.
One, great. I'm so glad that you have a job, that you feel motivated, that you want to go above and beyond, that you're working harder. And I think we should, kudos that and congratulations. But this idea that like, don't do what I do what I say is so wrong. Like, I think you are in some ways intentionally or not stopping other people from opportunities that you could delegate to them, that you could say like, hey, there's no expectation that you work longer, but like if there's a big project you might want to do that, that's totally cool. Like I respect that. I'm going to reward you for that. If there's a project you want to get on and you want opportunity and you want to work harder, there's a path for you here. To me, in some ways, it's telling people like, no, you can only work 9 to 5.
Right.
You have to work within these confines. And I'm not going to give you opportunities because it might disrupt your work-life balance. But look at me. I don't care. Like I work so hard. Like give people the same opportunity for you. So I hate don't do what I say, do it, or don't do it.
You got it. Don't do what I do.
Yeah, don't do what I do what I say.
Yeah.
No, like you should model by your actions, and you should give people the same opportunity for those. So that pisses me off. We're all a little guilty of it, but that really does piss me off. It's gatekeeping hard work. Let the people be. And rant.
I love that rant. I actually really agree with it. And I think I'm a recovering hard work gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And I think like the intentions can be good, which is like, I got so messed up by the expectations that were put upon me that I don't want other people to feel like they're only accepted, they're only good if they work hard.
But you overcorrect.
You overcorrect.
Yes.
And so I think there's this element of like, you should be proud of your work. You should be working hard. What you shouldn't be doing is like getting anxious that like, you won't be loved if you're not putting out like the most content, the most projects, the most tasks, whatever. And that's also, I think, related to kind of this like productivity fetishization that we've been doing over the past, 75 decades. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you.
I have one more caveat.
Okay.
As part of this, it kind of feels like we've given up on the idea that you can find a lot of meaning from your work. And that you might want to work more because you're actually enjoying what you're doing.
Yep.
And instead of working with your team or a person to figure out what could job craft and make their work very meaningful, where like you wouldn't have to worry about them working later or working on the weekends, like they would choose to do that because they're really excited by it. Instead of believing that's a possibility, we've said, no, I know how much work sucks.
Right.
And so I'm going to do the best I can as your manager to make sure it only sucks between 9 and 5.
Right.
That's so self-defeating to me. And like, that's more depressing than like, let's find a job that you're really excited about. That to me is more exciting. And I don't think we should give up on that.
Okay. I think we could talk about that more, but we've got to go.
For 2026.
2026, we'll talk about it.
Let's hear your work rant.
All right. So my 2025 work rant specifically, and I think this is something that please let us keep this in 2025, is I cannot keep hearing about return to office. Please don't tell me about which companies are making you come into the office 3 times a week now instead of 2 times. Which companies are saying 5 days a week. I don't care. I have heard about it so much. There's no more nuance that we can like wring out of this stone. Like, please don't make me hear that another company is asking you to come in on Fridays. Like, we even talked about this in trivia. We both came up with who said it. RTO comments, because it was so prevalent every single day of this year. We were listening to who's going in office, who's not. What does it mean for society? What's better? Work from home, hybrid, return to office. I don't care. Do good work, and I don't want to hear about this anymore. If You guys make me talk about return to office in 2026. I will not be on this podcast anymore. I hate talking about it. And there's so many times where we're talking about what should we talk about? What's another topic? What's trending? And it's always return to office. Please let it die. End rant.
Incredible rant. And I'm afraid to even say the letters RTO now.
I know.
You scared the
sorry.
sense into me. Looks like we will not be covering that in 2026.
Please, I mean, listen, if there's something new that's interesting, like fine, yes, we'll talk about it. But I'm so sick of which companies are going back into office. I don't care.
I like your point. Like we did an episode on Allstate that had a really interesting RTO structure and like hybrid structure. Then we did an episode on Amazon when they dropped their big memo. But then every memo after that, it was the same thing.
It's the same thing.
We get it. We know why this is happening.
Right. And if you want to be really innovative about how you're structuring hybrid, how you're getting people back in the office in a way that actually moves the needle and is actually like a model that other companies that we can advocate for or discuss.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about that.
Fun.
That would be fun. But so far, I haven't heard anything. It's the same bullshit. I'm sick of it.
Okay, so if you mention RTO to Kaila, you better come correct. That's what I'm hearing. Great work, Rant, Kaila. We crushed that segment.
I think so too.
Very fun. It was pent up for a while.
Yeah, I know. I've been wanting to talk about that.
Let's move to our last segment, which is Rosebud and Thorn, but I'm changing it to Thorn, Rosebud because I'm an optimist and I want to get the bad stuff out of the way.
Okay, so for those who maybe don't know what a rosebud thorn is, basically we're looking back at our 2025 work year and we're talking about the rose, the nice thing, the thing that we're the most happy about in the year, the bud, the thing we're most excited about for the next year, and the thorn, the thing that maybe didn't go so well in 2025.
Yes.
For us personally, not necessarily work trends.
Correct, but we are inverting the order, so it's going to be Thorn, Rose, and Bud. I will do my Thorn first.
Okay.
So my Thorn was a compressing of time because I got a lot busier this year. It's also in personal life, my Rose, because we had a daughter and she's awesome. But from a time perspective, like I just lost like all of my like alone time and all of my time to like decompress. And so finding ways to do that between work and life has been a challenge. I think it's a challenge for any new parent who's like, this is my first reps of trying to figure this out. So like, I just have felt like the buffer time between work and home has like basically been incinerated. And I'm trying to figure out how to do better at that in 2026. So that was my Thorn.
You want me to go next?
Yeah.
Okay, my Thorn was not having a team. I feel like I've spent so much of my career like really enmeshed in a team. And I think this is the year that it kind of clicked to me that like, I really like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard to be a team of one because you spend so much time interacting with other people, but you're never like fully ingrained in somebody else's like I don't know. It's just hard.
Yeah.
And so I think that was my Thorn, and I think that might be altering in 2026.
Okay.
Whatever.
Ooh, here we go. Here we go.
We'll see.
I similar as like my role is pretty similar to that. So I feel that. I think that's a really good one. Okay. My Rose was Morning Brew Inc. just had a great year. Like we hit all of our revenue targets. We hit our like revenue targets that were specifically on multimedia, which was a big focus this year. And I think that I learned a lot this year through osmosis. Like my role, like when we started out at the company, we were doing very different things. My role has allowed me to see a lot more of the company than I did in the past. And I do feel like I learned a lot about what account management does and what sales does and what ad ops does just through working on various projects with those teams. And so I'm someone that's driven by curiosity and driven by learning. And this was a great year where I got to like really feel that and embrace that. So that was a big, beautiful rose in my garden.
That's great. I really like that.
Thank
That's
you.
fun. My Rose is, I took it as the things that I'm the most proud of, like from the year.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the 2 like books that we published. So we published a second volume of our book of crosswords.
Plug, get it.
I know, but it really
Sick
is
plug.
so much work.
Yeah.
It was like months of my life figuring out and making this book happen. And then we also launched a 2026 desk calendar that has like games and trivia. And it's like,
Sick.
It took so long. It's the first time we've ever done anything like it. It was a physical product that we hadn't worked with before. There was a lot of trial and error, and it took a ton of time, and a lot of people spent a lot of time and effort making this thing really beautiful. And so to see it physically after months and months of like, is this going to work? Back and forth stress, like kind of like a lot of details that had to like get done. It was like, it's really cool to see your work in like a physical thing that is now out in the world. So those were my two that I'm like the most proud of. And I'd say that was my big role.
All right, claps for Kaila.
was
They
pretty
are
fun.
amazing. They're literally both my holiday gifts. For
Yeah,
multiple
great.
people, so
Spoiler. I guess after, yeah.
They are very solid. And kudos to that. It was a great job.
Let's hear your
Okay,
bud.
let's move to the bud. So my bud is, I think I'm like getting, so on the curve of like expert to like idiot. I think your career kind of goes in waves. Like
Yeah.
you start getting good at something, you think you're really smart. You get good at something, so you get more opportunity. You meet other people that are like ahead of you. You realize you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then you do the same thing, and it kind of just
Right.
goes and goes. And I think by like the end of this year, I'm like back in the like, oh, I'm an idiot
Okay.
like phase, which is genuinely like very. That's where I
But
like
less
to be.
idiot than you were initially. Like the
Correct.
idiot is
relative.
less. It's
I'm
relative.
I'm a relative idiot.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think I've gotten a lot of great opportunities this year, so I've back to my rows, like learned a lot, but then you're a beginner. So then you start learning, you realize like, wow, there's so much more I can learn. And I like that. So that's like a good part of the cycle for me. And so that's my bud is like, I just feel like I now understand there's so much more I can learn and kind of what I want to learn. And I'm really excited to bring that to fruition in 2026. So
Cool.
my bud is I'm a relative idiot.
Love that.
Yep.
Exciting for you. I could have told you that.
True.
Yeah, okay.
What is yours?
So my bud is also kind of Thorn related, which is that I feel like I've spent the last few years trying to figure out, like I've been doing all these strategic projects and I'm like, what's the through line for all of them? And I think it finally clicked a few weeks ago. And I finally understand like what the like overarching theme of all of my different fun projects that I've been working on are. And I am so excited to translate that next year into like actual strategy that is overall encompassing, not just strategy for games, strategy for affiliates, whatever, strategy for live events. And so I think that unlock is going to really change my day to day in that I've felt very like every day is focused on a different project. And now I think I can focus on everything.
Yeah.
And moving everything forward in the same way. So I'm really excited about it. That feels kind of vague, but I'm like very, very excited. The thing that I'm thinking of is like basically going from games, YouTube, whatever, to audience engagement, which feels like a much more overarching thing.
Yeah.
And I think is going to allow me to spend more time on what matters. So anyways,
I love that.
very excited about that.
It was a lot of like synthesis and dot connecting, and now you're like, okay, I see how all these things connect.
Yeah.
Very excited to bring that forward in 2026.
Exactly.
Okay, that's our Rosebud and Thorn. This was so fun.
This was honestly amazing. I feel like we talked a lot, but I'm really, really excited.
Well, we had some fun doing it.
I know,
We tied
I
in
agree.
trivias. It was a good time. We might have to do these like once a quarter.
Honestly, okay, so let us know, because what did you think about this? Was this fun for you? Did you skip it? Tell us. I mean, I guess you wouldn't be telling us because you're not here, but we're very curious to hear what you think about this different format.
That's right. Per my last email at morningbrew.com. Shoot us an email. Tell us anything. You're our friends.
Whatever.
Let us know. How's your day going? We don't care. We want to know. Then go to Spotify 5 stars, people. Please. It helps grow the show.
True.
It makes me and Kayla feel good. Our parents will accept us at the holidays.
They usually don't.
But if we get to 400 reviews, they will. My mom told me. So please do that. Let's roll the credits.
Let's do it.
Our producer is Michaela Heck.
Our technical director is Uchenna Ogu.
Brittany DeTaco is our audio engineer.
And our president is Devin Emery.
This show is a production of Morning Brew.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next year.
Yes, we will.